Welcome to the OpenAI Codex Complete Guide, where we will be learning how to use OpenAI's new super app to create and edit designs, do research and create documents, create and deploy full web apps, create motion graphic launch videos, create high-quality investor decks that you can export to Canva, and even create high-quality iOS apps in Swift. What you'll realize in this video is Codex is the only unified, all-purpose AI agent tool. One that combines coding, co-work, browser, and computer use cases all into one single interface that we are going to cover in great detail. So this video is going to be divided into two parts. We're going to first start with the basics, and then we are going to move on to multitasking and creating many different things in parallel. In part one, we're going to talk about the basics of prompting. We're going to talk about permissions, the different AI models you can use, and the effort. We're also going to talk about the main features in the app. We're going to do a detailed dive into all of the different things that you can do on Codex. We're going to talk about how to stay organized. We're going to talk about this preview, which makes Codex so useful for basically any use case. You can even comment directly on the preview to give additional information to the AI agent. We're also going to talk about how to create PowerPoints, how to create Excel sheets, and how to create documents. We're going to talk about skills and plugins. We're also going to create automations. So you can simply chat with Codex to create automations that allow you to just save so much time. And then we're also going to talk about computer use, which allows your agent to literally control your computer. And the OpenAI computer use is best in the world by far. And so part one is going to feel very linear and somewhat slow, but we're really going to dig into the basics. In part two, we're going to start to have a lot more fun. In part two, we are going to create a design for a mobile app. We're going to create a mobile app. We're going to build a web app. We're going to build an investor deck, and we're going to create a launch video. And we're going to do these all at the same time. And so we are going to dive into multitasking with Codex, because every month that goes by, AI agents are working for longer and longer, to the point where AI agents can take up to an hour or 2 hours on any given task. So in order to become effective at using AI, you need to learn how to multitask. And in this part, I want to talk about how I multitask with Codex. And so by the end of this video, you are going to be ahead of 99% of people in terms of practically using AI agents to get work done, whether it's coding or general use cases and creating documents and things for work. Let's dive into the video. Okay, so let's first start off by downloading the Codex app. So you can go to any browser and type in Codex app download. And here we see chatgpt.com. Codex desktop app. We're going to click on this. The page should look like this. And here is where you can download this for Mac OS. I already have it downloaded, but just click this and go through the process of getting it on your computer. Okay, so when you download the Codex app for the first time, it'll look a lot like this. You're going to see this left side panel with these 5 options over here, which we're going to dive deep into later. You're not going to see any conversations over here, and then you're going to see this kind of chat interface that looks oddly similar to ChatGPT. And we can actually open up Arc here real quick. Here is ChatGPT. This is what ChatGPT looks like. It's very similar. You type a chat and you get a response from ChatGPT. It's very similar. So it looks similar from this perspective, but there's so much more in this application. It is unbelievable. So if I were to type something here, let's say I type something like this: hello, please search and tell me the latest news on OpenAI's new desktop app, list all the different features. Just like ChatGPT, it has built-in web search, so it'll automatically search the web and it will give me a nice response. I can also type that into Codex and press enter. Now, notice here that the chat find OpenAI desktop features showed up here in the side panel under this chats column. This is actually brand new to Codex. They added this chats column. This is because we didn't actually select which location we wanted this chat to be in. And I'll explain that right now. What makes Claude Code and Codex so powerful is that it is an AI agent that can basically control your entire computer. It can create files, it can edit files, and as we'll get to later, it can even use computer use, which means fully controlling the mouse and keyboard on your computer. And so when you do this, The most useful way to do it is to give it a specific location in which it starts out in. And when you create a project, it's going to open up your folders on your computer, right? It's going to open up Finder. And so I create a project called Codex Projects, and you can create anything you want. You can call it Riley's Codex, or you can just put them in your documents folder. It doesn't matter. I keep it organized, and I'll even create a new folder. So I'll just say like Riley's Codex Projects. So this is the folder that I'll create where I will put all of my other projects beneath it. So I just created this Riley's Codex Projects. Now, let's say I wanted to do some research on all the cool things about Codex and the new desktop app. And I can create a project where all the documents that I create about this will be stored in that location. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit New Folder, and I'm going to call this Codex Desktop Research. And we're going to hit Create. We're going to select this folder, and we're going to hit Open. Notice here that a project was created. We have one project created, and it's called Codex Desktop Research. Now, if we click on this button, we are now creating a new chat at Codex Desktop Research. It's also listed right here, Codex Desktop Research. So when we create a chat, it'll show up here. So I'm just going to say, please tell me about the new Codex desktop app features that they released today. And again, this can search the internet by default. It can go off and do research. And notice here, if we were to expand this, this chat shows up right here, and it will automatically use AI to name it. So find new Codex app features. Now we can press this button again, and we can actually create a new chat. I can say, what are people saying about the new Codex app? Figure out a way to look at blogs and x.com, and what are people saying? What are they excited about? So these are chats under the same project, and they work at the same time. And you can tell that it's in progress because of this right here, right? You can see that we have this spinny circle right here, so we know that we're waiting. And one of the coolest features of the Codex app and other similar apps like it is it makes it pretty easy to multitask. And so we'll know when it's done because a blue little dot, there we go, right on cue. So this blue dot popped up here. Now we know that we have like an unread message. So we can click on this. And so here we can find the new feature. And let's say I don't want to read it like this. I can say, please create a spreadsheet of the new features that you just told me. And so now what it's going to do is it is going to create a spreadsheet, which is a document, and it's actually going to store this spreadsheet in this folder right here. And remember, you can always get back to this folder for this project by clicking these three dots and hit Open in Finder, and you can see that it opens up right here. And we can click into it, and we're going to be able to see all of the files that get created. No files have been created so far, and these chats don't actually get stored here. It's just the files that they create. Oh, and here we go. It just created this outputs folder. We click in this, and so it's created the folder. It hasn't yet created the document yet. And if you'll notice here, it's done, and you'll see at the bottom we have this Codex Desktop Features .xlsx. If we go ahead and we just click Open, look at this. It opens right here in the side view. Notice here, if we don't want this side-by-side view, we can come up and we can press this button right here, which will allow us to full screen it. And I could even remove the side panel. And now we're operating in this spreadsheet view, and it is literally full screen. Yeah, I can view the whole thing, and I can create a follow-up. And I could say something like, please remove the source page column. And so now we can just see that it is working, and you can tell it's working because it says stop, and we can leave this full screen view, and we can see that this was entered in the chat. So this is a fun way to toggle between, like, here you can see all of your agents and the chat and what your agent is working on. And if you want to just focus on the thing that you're working on, again, you can full screen this, and you can remove the side panel to kind of toggle between the views. And look, here it's done. You will notice here that the source column is no longer here. It removed it, and so we can just use AI to edit this document pretty perfectly. And remember when I said that all of the files that your agent creates will show up in this folder, and you can open in Finder at this location, and we can open this, And here we can see that this XLS, this is the file that we're working on right now. So all of it is stored in this file. And so this makes it easy for me to create chats and reference that file. I can very easily hit create new chat, and I can say, please add anything that I missed to at, and we should be able to see the file. If we go back to Finder, we can see that this file is called Codex Desktop Features. And so we can go at Codex Desktop Features. And so we can mention that file and say, do research, let me know if I missed anything for new features for Codex. And so within this chat, like within this folder, we can mention anything that we create, which is really, really fun. Okay, I wanted to take a brief moment to just recap everything that we've talked about before we dive into more advanced topics. Codex, in its simplest form, this Codex application allows you to chat with an AI agent that can create, edit, and delete files on your computer. And the specific parts of the app that we've talked about, the project location or file path is right here. The permissions are right here. It's basically what your agent is allowed to do, and do you need to approve its actions. I prefer using full access, so just let it cook. And then we also have the model, GPT 5.4, and the effort level, which is extra high, that I use by default. And you can type your question or answer or whatever you want to create. You can type it in. When you type it in, when you choose a file location, it'll also show up in the side panel right here. And again, your project location, Codex Desktop Research, Codex Desktop Research. This chat, whatever you type in, will be named and will be placed here in the side panel. And if we go down here, your agent can also create files, right? So it can create this .xlsx document on your computer. And so this is just an agent created file. And this agent created file gets added to this folder that you created, right? The same project location, your file created by an agent. If the chat is within this project location, that file will actually show up in this outputs folder within the Codex Desktop Research. So you can see they all get organized in this clean file layout. And then if you press this open button right here, then it opens up the file in this clean view. And remember, you can full screen this view if you want to, and you can see all of your files here. So you can actually have multiple files open, which we'll get to a lot later. We haven't done this yet, but you can see the file name right here. And so that's kind of a basic overview of what we've talked about so far. Now let's dig into some more fun workflows and more fun projects. So now I want to go over the other options up here on the top left. The first one being search. And don't worry, we'll get to plugins in a second. This is when it gets really fun. But you know how we have 2 projects over here? I've actually created over 30 different projects in the time that I've been using Codex. But one thing that you can do is you can very easily remove them from the side panel. And that doesn't mean you delete anything, because remember, these are all just folders on your computer and those don't actually get deleted. You just remove them from the side panel. But this search feature, what I can do is I can search anything. So I remember I said to do research and create a report in the style of Karpathy, but I removed the project. But if I just type in Karpathy, it searches all the chats for the name Karpathy, and I can click on it, and now this chat opens up. And you can see here that the name of the chat is Analyze Karpathy Voice, and it's in this general agent tasks. So remember, this is just the project folder. So this Codex Desktop Research, right? That is the project folder. This is the general agent tasks folder that I removed from the side panel. But if I click on this, it'll actually open up the location. And then all I need to do is just drag this in here, and boom. Now all of the chats for this general agent tasks here shows up here on the left side panel. Right? That's pretty cool. And again, I can remove it and I can bring it back whenever I want. And so in order to access this search menu, you can just press Command G and we can just type in Codex Outline and you can open it without even clicking on it, which is kind of fun. Here is application that I was working on earlier that goes through all the features, but we're going to get to more advanced applications in just a second. First, I want to talk about plugin. And so yeah, many people get these confused, plugins versus skills. And I will say the line between plugins and skills is a little blurry. And so I actually just asked Codex to create a little graphic using my Excalidraw skill that I created, and I had it create this image, and then I exported it, and here it is. So fun fact, I generated this with my Excalidraw skill. But let's talk about the difference between skills and plugins. So skills are basically a reusable workflow package for a specific kind of task. And so you can think of a skill as a reusable recipe, whereas a plugin is the installable unit that extends Codex with more capabilities. And so you can see here, if we click on plugins, right, it's kind of weird, right? In the Claude app, we can see that they call it the Customize tab. And then here they have skills and connectors. OpenAI has plugins and skills. If you use different tools, they have different vocabulary for each one. So I kind of just clump these together, and I personally think of them as skills. And so skills are just ways to extend the capability of the model, right? So if I wanted to say something to Codex and be like, hey, check my email and tell me all of the urgent messages that they've sent me today, right? It couldn't do that right as you downloaded Codex. You need to give it the skill of email. And so I've done that already, right? I've given it the email skill. One thing that I can give it is my Google Calendar skill. I haven't done that yet in Codex. So let me show you this. So this is actually a plugin, Google Calendar plugin. And so I can give it the plugin, and so we can hit install Google Calendar, and this will automatically take me to my browser where I can sign into my email, and I can hit continue, and we can hit select all, continue. And now, once we get the verification, Google Calendar is ready, Google Calendar is now connected. That means the calendar is now plugged in. Now, if I go, let's say we go to, let's go to General Agent Task, because that's what I want to do right now. And we're just going to press this button right here. Now, we can say, please list out the events for this week for me. And I can press slash. You actually wouldn't have to do this. You don't have to type in everything. The agent is smart enough to just do it. And you'll see here that Google Calendar shows up right here. And so I can say, please list out the events for me, list them out here in the chat, and we can run this. And look at this. So all of my events are listed out right here. So this is my entire calendar listed out right here. And so I'm going to say, please, can you send me a weekly recap in email? Just email it to myself, because I've set up my Gmail integration, and I can hit slash Gmail, and please send me this recap to my email. And so that's all we're doing, is we are sending this to my email. So it's using the Gmail skill, connected Gmail address, and it's going to send me the email. I found the email address is my email right here, sending the recap there with the week and conflict note included. And so it's done. It said, I sent the recap to your email with the subject weekly calendar recap. If I go to my email application, I can see here, check this out. Here's the email that I got, and I use Superhuman for email. And here it says weekly, it was sent from me, and here's this weekly recap. Now, one thing that we're gonna talk about, and I'll talk about more about this later, is automations. I can just say, please, can you make this task an automation for every Friday at 4 p.m. for the previous week? Okay, look, I'm turning this into a weekly automation, blah, 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 blah. Here it says created weekly calendar recap Fridays at 4 p.m. And so if I click on this right here, I can see this weekly calendar recap. We can see that the status is active. The next run is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Right now it's currently Thursday at 4 p.m. And it's never run before, so it doesn't list the last run. And that's what we got. And what you'll notice here, if we actually go up to automations, we now see a 1 by automations. We can click on this, and here we see the automations. Look at this. And you can actually test this automation just by hitting play, which will automatically play it, or we can edit the automation, and it is very easy to just edit it, and we can add to it. And I can say, make sure to use the Gmail skill. If you want to, you actually don't need to do that. It's basically implied, and it's that easy to create an automation. You just ask Codex to create an automation. And so if you're ever confused about what a plugin can do, just create a new chat. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to General Agent Tasks, we're gonna create a new chat, and I'm just gonna type in @Figma, and this is a plugin, and I'm gonna say, please tell me what actions I can do with this plugin. I've never used it. Describe to me what I can do or what you can do, your abilities, with this plugin. List all. So now, Figma, we will learn about the Figma plugin. And here, it listed all of the things that it can do. A very quick side note, you see this caret here after working for 18 seconds. You can actually click this, and this will show kind of its thinking behind the scenes. Figma plugins gives me 3 broad kinds of abilities. It can inspect existing Figma files, it can generate new visual artifacts, and connect Figma to your code base. And so we can just test this out right now. So I have Figma open right here, and I guess I'm just gonna create a new design, and let's go ahead and call this, because I don't see the ability for it to create a new design. So I'm gonna rename this, and I'm just gonna say, I created this new Figma board called Riley New Design. Can you please put Hello World on that design to see if that works? So now we're going to test out this Figma integration. And so look at this, it says Figma is running locally. I'm switching to the text tool and placing a simple Hello World on the canvas. And so now it says Hello World is now on the Riley New Design canvas. Let's go ahead and go over there. And look at this, we have Hello World. And I've been typing a lot in this video, and so I'm going to show you how I normally interact with AI agents, which is just with my voice using a tool called Whisper Flow. And that's literally, you can look it up on Google, you can download it, they have a generous free plan. But all you have to do is hold the FN key and I can speak my idea. So now I want you to go to Figma. Actually, I don't want you to ignore the Hello World, that was just a test. Now that I know that it works, I want you to make a mock-up design on Figma for my new shoe company called New Shoe, Nooshoo. This is a new futuristic shoe, and I want you to create a landing page for it. So do that on Figma. If you need to get an image of this new shoe, generate it using your built-in image generation tool. And take a look at this. It just generated new shoe, and it generated an image right here in the chat, as you can see here. And now it says looked at Codex. So it's actually seeing the computer use is actually checking to see if it generated it. So now I'm using Figma/generate design for Figma landing page workflow and image gen for the product art. And so it generated this without a background. Notice here, if I were to copy this image and I were to like open it up, you can see here, it's saved to my clipboard without a background. And this is a pretty cool shoe. So I'm not gonna lie, this Figma integration it's pretty much made for you to have a Figma board and convert the Figma board into code rather than like telling it to generate code and then put it onto Figma. And so there's actually a tool made specifically for that, which is called Paper, which I've talked to a lot of designers, and a lot of designers are switching to this. But what this allows you to do is you can create a new file here, and I'm just going to call this Codex test. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press new. I can say /paper, and I have this skill that I've created previously called paper deck style. But what we can do is we can actually go to plugins and we can hit manage, and here we have MCPs. And here we have this paper MCP. And so if you are ever using a tool on their website, they might say like, use the new paper MCP, or use the new Figma MCP, or use the new Notion MCP. You can literally just go to Claude Code, this works in Claude Code or Codex, and say, hey, I want to be able to use this MCP. Can you please create a skill that wraps this MCP? And that'll tell it that it can create a skill with that MCP so that you can use it really easily. So what I'm gonna do is I can go to this new chat here and I can hit /paper, or I can say use the paper MCP to create a landing page for my new company, New Shoe. And remember, we've created those files for New Shoe. Let's see if they're in here. Yep, New Shoe Hero, and we can type @New Shoe PNG, use the one without a background, and create a landing page on the open paper board. Use the paper tool that we've created. And since I've already created this, you're going to see, and in my opinion, this is the best way to get AI to make designs for you. Check this out. So we can open up paper. Oh, this is really cool as well. So if we open up this general tasks here and we right click on this chat and we say open in mini window, we can actually open this chat in a mini window. and we can minimize Codex. So now we can have whatever application we want to have open here on the side. And here it says, okay, the board is empty, so I'm going to build a fresh desktop artboard. I'm checking both the hero files locally. Okay, design is set. I'm building this. Look at this. So it'll just generate a landing page design. And we can just have this open. We have the chat open on the side, and I love this animation when it's editing, and we'll just let it cook. Okay, you see here it created this top board or top bar, technology performance launch. You can see, ooh, move like the roads has been written. New shoe blends featherweight knit. All right, so these buttons are a little overlapping. Remember, the AI might fix this. It might just realize it messes up and then it'll actually just fix this. Oh, this is a great opportunity to talk about a new feature. So one thing that a lot of AI tools have is message queuing, which basically, like, if I were to type a prompt while it's working right now and say, like, please fix it. On a lot of AI tools, what it'll do is it'll wait for the AI to be done before entering the prompt. But Codex has steering built in, like steer, like your steering wheel. And what you can do is I can paste that screenshot and just say, oh, by the way, there's some overlap here. You might want to fix this while you're working. And so when you press enter, by default, it'll be queued up. But if you click steer, it'll actually enter it while it's working. So you don't even have to wait for it to be done. You can kind of steer it while you work. And so you can see here, once it's done with its latest activity or tool call, your prompt gets entered. And so now, in the middle of your conversation, it says that I saw the overlap. I'd already started moving the CTA and stats down, but I'm rechecking the hero and adjusting the copy, and it'll hopefully make the fix on this specific run. And look at this. So it's already starting to fix it. And here we go. And I could say something like create 4 more variations. I want you to make slight modifications on each. I'm not going to go through this whole process, but the point I'm trying to make here is Paper is a software tool that was designed specifically to connect to your AI agents like Codex, like Claude Code, and there will be way more tools just like this. I think there's a massive opportunity to create tools that connect to other agents that people already use. And you can see here, Figma has a really bad integration, in my opinion, compared to Paper. Paper is just way more fun. And look at this. It just created this new variation, and it is going to copy over everything. And that's how easy it is. You just get AI to create multiple variations. Look at this, number 2, number 3, and number 4, right? Making them with different background colors. It's working on them in parallel. And this tool, Paper, was made specifically to be an integration into your existing tools. And this is going to be a massive trend going forward. And so plugins are kind of pre-made for you a lot of the time. They're just built into Codex, and this list is going to get 1,000 times bigger. This tool is going to become so popular that every software platform in the world is going to be begging OpenAI to create an official plugin for them so you show up at the top of the list. The value of showing up at the top of this list for like GitHub, Linear, all of these tools, even showing up at this part right here like Neon Postgres, like this is so valuable to show up here on this list. And so there's going to be more and more of these integrations, but it's important to realize how to create your own skill. So let's go ahead and create our own skill. So if we go to our general agent tasks and we open up a new task, one of the things that I was constantly doing over and over again was going to YouTube, and I would go to this site called like YouTube Transcript Extractor, and I wanted a way to very easily like pull a transcript from a video. And then I wanted to be able to do it for all of the videos of a given channel, or I wanted to be able to search YouTube and pull the transcripts from a certain search term. And so I looked it up. I said, hey, I want to be able to use an API. And so an API, for those of you who are untechnical, you can think of this as just like a way to use code to access certain information from other people's software. And so when you're vibe coding, a lot of you guys who follow me have vibe coded before. And if you wanted to add an AI chat to an application, you needed the OpenAI API, which you also needed an OpenAI API key. And this would basically grant you access to add the OpenAI technology into your app. And so this is what I'll do all the time. Like if I'm running into an annoying process that I'm doing over and over again, I'll just look up and see if there's an API for it. So it's like, I want to be able to use an API to pull YouTube transcripts. Can you suggest the top 5 for me? And look at this. It just created a list of different ones that we can use. Here are the top 5: Superdata, Transcript API, YouTube Transcript.io, and Scrape Creators. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check out Superdata. And I have used this before. What we can do is we can sign in. And once you sign in and put in your credit card, you can get an API key. I think I might even be on the free plan. And so I get a certain amount of transcripts per month. I think you get 100 free per month. So I'm not on my personal Superdata account. I don't think I'm using that many of them. So I can copy this API key and we can go back to Codex and say, okay, please can you create a skill that allows me to ask you to summarize the latest 10 videos from a certain YouTube channel. And you can always use this API to just immediately pull them. So you can go to their YouTube channel, you can search their YouTube channel, get their latest 5 videos and pull the transcripts and then summarize them. I want you to create a skill. So you're going to need to look and research how to use Superdata and figure out how to use it well and quickly and create a skill so that I can always ask you for this information. Here is my API key. I'm going to include my API key. I'm going to paste it at the end. I don't want to show it on camera. But one thing before I want to do that is you can type in skill creator, and this will indicate that it should use the skill creator. It'll help it understand what it needs to do. And this skill makes it really good at creating skills. And so here is the key. I'm going to paste it, but I'm going to do it off camera. Okay, so I entered my prompt. It's now running. I'm just have this covering up my key, and it's going to use the skill creator and it is going to create the skill. And then once your Codex is done working and it's created the skill, again, you go to plugins, you click on skills, and you'll see it right here. And so it created the skill called YouTube Researcher. And so in order to use a skill, you actually need to create a new session. So this is the session that we created the skill in. Once we're done, right, we can just hit this new chat button and we can just type in YouTube Researcher. And so please, can you look at Riley Brown latest 10 YouTube videos, pull the transcripts and summarize them in a document, and please, I want you to inform me which of these videos did well and which of these videos did not do as well. And this should be kind of an analysis of what people are interested in. That's what I want you to look in. And then also do a hook analysis. So based on like the intro of my video, I want you to say which intros did well, which intros did not do well. And in this report, I want the YouTube thumbnails in there as well. So Superdata can also pull the YouTube thumbnail, which is really cool. Okay, so it is done. And you can see here, we see this report. If I click open, we now have this Riley Brown YouTube report. And look at this. So this is using this skill right here, which is the /docs, Word docs skill. This is, I think this comes built into Codex. And it looked at the full transcripts. And here at the bottom, we see the hook winners. So Claude is taking over, big market shift, high urgency. These intros did the best. Claude Code leak, OpenClaw Blender skills. Claude Code can design now. Why specialized agents are superior. That's pretty good. The hooks that didn't do well is build a sync web app and mobile app in 16 minutes. That video did not do as well. The 35 fundamentals you need to vibe code your first app. So it looks like vibe coding did not do as well. Building a mobile app with OpenAI Codex, and 7 OpenClaw skills that can 10x your output. Very interesting. And so it even told me what to double down on. So this is pretty cool. So it took all of that YouTube data and turned it into a document. I'm going to say, okay, on the last day of every month, I want you to do this for the videos for that month. Can you create this automation that uses the /YouTube researcher skill and the /Word doc to create a report just like this for the videos for that month. Make it slightly more brief, and in the table, make them ordered by view count. And so now we're running this, we can exit full screen mode, and that's exactly what we're gonna do here. So what we did here is we basically created a YouTube researcher skill. And this required an external API, and we just did research on Codex to find the SupaData API. And then what we did is we got an API key. We gave this API key to Codex, and we said create a skill with the SupaData API, use this key, and then this created this skill. So this process created this skill. And then we said to use it. I said, use the SupaData API to look up my YouTube, pull all my latest transcripts, and then create a doc, right? And so we created a doc, and then we kind of paired these together, right? We used these in tandem with one another. We used this and we created this automation, right? So we created an automation. We said every single end of the month, at the end of every single month, I want you to create a report that searches YouTube and prepares it in a Word doc and send it to me. And that's exactly what we did. And so if we go back to Codex, let's see if it's done. Yes, it's done. And you see here, it says created monthly YouTube report. So I can click on this, and here, okay, I didn't realize this. You can reference skills in the monthly report. So that's useful to know. And you'll notice here in the automations tab, we now have a 2. So we have 2 automations that are set up, a monthly YouTube report and a weekly calendar recap. Okay, so we've covered a lot here in part 1. We've talked about a lot of the basics, how the app works, how to create skills. We've talked about plugins, automations. We've created a couple, and we're kind of moving slowly through this process. In part 2, we're going to be doing a role play, and we're going to be creating 6 different things at once. And what I really want to show in this section is how to do, like, we're actually going to create a web app, we're going to create a mobile app, so we're going to learn about vibe coding in this process. But I also want to focus on multitasking. As I said earlier in the video, these agents are taking longer and longer to complete tasks. So if you want to be efficient in this new AI world, you need to learn how to send instructions to an agent, trust the agent to do really good work, and then move to a new agent chat so that you can start working on something else. And all of the best engineers and the best operators who use AI are very effective multitaskers. And they're able to just focus on one agent chat, put all of your effort into a prompt, and then once you press enter, to just check out of that task and move to a new one. So it's not even like multitasking, you're like serial tasking. Each prompt that you type in is the task. And so we're going to create 6 different things in this role play. So in this role play, my name is Riley Brown, which is my actual name, but I want to create an iOS app. So my main priority is to create an iOS app, but creating the app isn't enough, right? We actually have to do some marketing. And so that's why I'm going to be creating some ex-post automations. We also need a high quality launch video. We're going to do a launch video. I want to raise a little bit of money. I want to raise $1 million for this app. So we're going to create an investor deck. We're also going to release this launch video before this app is out, right? So we want to go launch video, then iOS app, which means that we need to create some sort of website or landing page that we can allow people to sign up for a wait list. You want to be able to collect data. And before we create our iOS app, we are going to create an iOS app design. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to kind of move through these together. You know, we're not going to work on all 6 at once, but we're going to be working on many things at once the whole time until we create a system around this app that could be a fully operating business, and we're going to create some automations as well. So in order to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Codex, and we're going to create a new project. So this new project, we're going to go into Riley Brown, we're going to go into Codex projects. Actually, we're going to create a whole new folder here, and I'm just going to call this my new business. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this folder, and I'm going to hit new chat. I'm going to say I have a plan, create a markdown file of my plan. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this little thing here, and I'm just going to take a screenshot of this, put this image. I'm creating a mobile app right now and a landing page, as well as some other assets. I want to create a design for this. I just want you to outline what I've put in this in a simple markdown file. Whatever you see here, I'm also going to make a launch video with a remotion skill. I'm going to make, what else am I doing? Oh, an investor deck. I also want to make an investor deck. So please just make a simple bulleted list that I can check off as I go along of all of these items. So there should be 6, each one of the ones that are listed here. And then please at the top put my app idea. So my app idea is as follows, and I put a little info here. The app is going to be called Chorus. It's going to be a place where people can learn about AI agents. People can learn about the best agent platforms. People can learn about how agents work. Oops, we can stop it here. People can also learn about the best skills. So that's going to be a skills library that I'm going to curate that people can copy and paste into any agent and it will just work. So basically just put this in a very simple one-pager doc, don't add anything. So we're kind of just creating a plan here in this My New Business. Now, while that's gonna run, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new chat and I'm gonna say, I want to use the /mobile design skill. Now, this mobile design skill is a custom skill that I made, and I actually extracted it from Anthropic's new design tool. So if you go to claude.ai/design, they just released a new design tool that's like supposed to be like Figma. And all I did, I had it create a mobile app design. As you can see here, there's this like design, and I want to be able to use a skill just like this. So then I just asked the agent, I said, hey, can you tell me exactly how this design app worked? And it just literally worked for me. Like it just outputted everything. So I just copied all of these documents here, and then I copied the files that this new Claude design skill gives you. And then I gave it to Codex, and I literally said the following here. I literally said this. I said, I want you to create a mobile design skill. This is how Claude does it. I want you to mimic this. And then I just pasted literally everything it gave me here with all of the files. And it just created this mobile design skill, and it works really well. I'll show you. So we can go back to this. I want you to use a mobile design skill, and I want you to create the screens for this app in very basic Apple style design. We will add some flair in a little bit. I just want to get all the screens functionally correct. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to go back to this Chorus app plan. We can open this here in the side view. So you can see here we have this right here. So this app is going to be called Chorus. So I can just copy this and we can just paste this app idea. And now we're creating the mobile app design. And so what we need to do is we're going to create the design first. Then we're going to create an iPhone app. We're going to create a web app, investor deck, launch video, and ex-post automation. So we're working on this right now. And by the way, I will post the mobile app design skill on the actual app that we're creating. I'm gonna put this on test flight, and I'll put it on a website somewhere below the video, so you'll be able to get this mobile app design skill. You'll be able to just copy the link and paste it into Codex and use the skill for 100% for free. And okay, so while these screens are loading, we can actually get our mobile app set up. And so I'm gonna go through this process relatively slowly so that you can understand how to build an iOS app with Codex. So I'm gonna say, I want you to create a new project called Chorus. This is going to be a Swift mobile app, and what I want you to do right now is just make it say, hello world, this is Chorus, in simple text in the middle. Basically what we're doing is we're just getting our project set up. We're not going to do anything else. Just put this text on a mobile app and open the Xcode project when you're done so that I can run it from Xcode. And so we're going to run this. In order to use this, you're going to need two things. And you can search on Codex how to do this. You're going to need Xcode, and I will pull it up here. If you just type in download Xcode, this is Apple's developer platform, and Codex can actually connect to Xcode. And once you download this, you're also going to need to download iOS Simulator if you want to run it on a little device on your phone. So those are the two things that I have downloaded, and you're going to need the iOS simulator for this. And you can figure out how to download this. Just ask AI. You do need a Mac for this, and you will probably need like 20 gigabytes of spare storage on your computer. So the Chorus screens are still being built, but the Create Chorus Hello app is done. And so it actually opened up Xcode on my computer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to one of the simulators. We're going to use an iPhone 17, and we're going to hit this play button. This should open a simulator. Here it is. And here is the app that we're going to be working on. So I'm going to move this right here. Here is going to be the mobile app that we are working on. And this is really Cool. And as you can see here, hello, this is Chorus. This is the app. It is completely white. Just have this black text here in the middle. There's no app functionality. We just now have the project open. And now we can talk to Codex and we can actually edit this app however we want. We can build any features we want, literally any features, simply by vibe coding. And you'll see we'll add some more features later. Now, here is an app where we see that the build chorus screens is done. We can click on this. Okay, so I actually just went to have lunch for about 25 minutes and we're back and all my agents are done. So obviously we have the Xcode project set up and here we have the build chorus screens. So now that it's done and it gave us this prototype link. So my skill gives you a prototype link and take a look at that. So we have this app screen. It's very basic, but we can switch screens here or we can switch tabs. So we have this like learn tab and maybe you can do like agents 101. I think this is actually a decent start. I like the hierarchy. So like the learn, the different platforms. This is like a good, we can organize this or actually create real categories later, but this is ultimately what I want the app to look like. And saved is good. It separates the learning and the platforms and the skills here. As you can see here, we have multiple saved. I like this design. So if we go to this Chorus app and what we can do is we can say, please integrate, and you can actually go up here and what you can do is you can actually click on this toggle files. So here we have the output. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, so now we can see we have this mobile design. So we can just say, please integrate the screens in the My New Business folder in the mobile app and just make this app have all of these screens. We will populate it with real data later and build out the experience and polish the design. So implement it now. So we've created these screens right here, and this just gives us kind of like a nice little outline. Like, okay, we can make some edits to this, but I think this is good enough to just implement. And so we can go to our plan and we could say, okay, mark the iPhone app as done, and then make the building the iPhone app as working in the works. And then also put web app and landing page in the works. Because now we need to create a landing page. Okay, so that just sent through. Now what we can do is we're gonna create a new chat and we're gonna say, I want to create a very basic web app landing page that can collect data from interested users for our app. I just wanna create the shell and basically just have a page with a title that says Chorus app, and then I want a field that users can fill out in order to put in their email and their information, except we're going to use an external tool for this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Arc, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to tally.so. So Tally is a tool that I use to collect form submissions. So here are all the form submissions that I've created in the past. Here's a brand new form that we're going to create. And so I'm just going to say, waitlist, Chorus, and we're going to use a template. Let's just use a template, and we can just do this right here, and we can do last name, first name, email address. Yeah, let's use this template, and we'll keep this really basic. We'll just say sign up for Chorus. We can always edit this later, but I think this is good. How do we, yeah, I think this is good. How do we make this not, okay, there we go. Done, your registration is complete. We will reach out in a few days. Okay, that's good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna publish this registration template. Now we're gonna go to, I believe it is share, and we can do this standard embed right here. And so we can click embed the code link. And so we can copy this code. As you can see here, it's saved to my clipboard. Or we can say get the code. Yeah, I think we can just copy all of this and we can go back to Codex. I am using tally.so. Can you please put this form in the site we will design it after? Right? Because right now we are using Tally to collect people's email addresses, right? So then we can reach out to them once we actually launch the app. So like right after this video, in theory, I could put this up on the internet and I'll show you exactly how to do that. And we're creating just a website that embeds this code, which allows people to type that in. Then we're going to design out the rest of the website. And here we actually have this app is done. Oh, and by the way, for this Tally app, I said make this a React app and run it locally. React is just like a good framework for design. I actually really don't even know what it is. I just know that every app I've created has been a React app. And here we can see that it's done. So if we click on this, it should open up the app here on the side. Let's see if this works. Okay, wait. While this finishes up, what we can do is we can go to Xcode. This does appear that it is done, and we can run this again on the simulator. And here it succeeded. And here we have the app running on Swift. Learn, platform, skills, and saved. So this is indeed a Swift application, and we have these pages. I wonder, do we want these fixed at the top? We will need to make some decisions here. Oh, okay, so this is running locally. This just opened up in my computer right here. We can see that this is working really well. And so I like this style. For whatever reason, Codex likes to use this style by default. I'm gonna have it use a style that looks a lot more like this. We're gonna keep it very basic. And okay, so what I wanna do is I'm gonna go to this Chorus mobile app, right? Because here we're working on the Chorus app. And again, you can rename these chats to keep them more organized. So in fact, I'm gonna show you, you can just right click, and I'm just going to say mobile app. We can rename this to web app. We can create Chorus project plan. Yeah, we can rename this to plan, and we can even pin the plan to the top right now. Build Chorus screens, and so we can rename this screen design, so that way we can stay fully organized while we work. Hi, I want to make some changes. So firstly, the name of each page, like for instance, learn, that should be pinned to the top, and when I scroll, that should not scroll down. And so that should be pinned to the top. Right now when I scroll, the title of the app goes down with it, and it just looks janky. And then as I scroll up, the tags at the top, those should scroll, and as items go beneath the top bar, I want it to kind of fade out. And this should be consistent on every page. Right now, when I scroll down on platforms, it'll just look a lot better. And then also the bottom little bar thing that has the 4 tabs, I really like the design. Keep it everything. Just move it down a little bit, and then as you scroll down, have the items fade out. So the list, as I scroll down, should not appear to be beneath the bottom bar. It should fade out as it gets like halfway through the bar. I've seen a lot of apps have this design, or like right as it reaches the bar, it should like have this light little fade out, similar to how you're going to do the top as well. And yeah, we're going to run it. Okay, so once your mobile app agent is done building, every single time you actually need to hit play, and this actually rebuilds the app on the device. So now we want to test it. Let's see how this looks. We have this nice blur here at the bottom. We have a blur here at the top. Look at this. This is pretty cool. We can switch platforms, and we're going to replace this with all the different platforms up here. This is going to be pretty cool. This is looking really good, actually. I'm actually enjoying this. Research, build. Here are going to be the skills for different avatars. Ooh, this is nice, actually. And then saved, we can save them. And that's pretty cool. These actually do get saved. This is very, very cool. Okay, so we're working on this app. It looks pretty good. We need to figure out a database, right? We want to figure out how users are going to be able to sign in. Actually, we don't even need to worry about that. It's like, how do I update this with the right app icons, et cetera, and ideally, how do I do it from here? So we can just ask Codex. So I'm just going to ask it a long prompt here. What I want to be able to do is I want to be able to update the app so that the different platforms and the platform types are kind of stored in a database. And I'm thinking, what is the easiest way to like store this information in this app so that I can have you edit it with AI? Like I could just ask you right now to edit things or add things to this app that's secure so users won't be able to edit it. And like what database should we use? And yeah, I want to be able to just like add a ton of things to this, give you documents so you can add it so that it stays organized, and over time it could scale up to like thousands of skills in theory in a couple years or something. And we're going to allow users to sign in. So what would be the best database system to set up so that you can use, like I could just ask you to add things to this app and we could just create it basically with AI that would work with Clerk, which is what we use for my company right now. And so this is just another thing to learn when using agents, right? If you don't know what to do, you can just ask it, right? It'll tell you the options and you just need to say, okay, let's do it. Let's solve it. Let's try and figure this out. Okay, well that's working. Let's go ahead and please generate 10 possible app icons for our app. here. And so I'm going to just screenshot it so it knows which app we're talking about, because it is located in the folder. We're working on the app now. I want 10 icons, no background, that fits this same style of this app. Ideally something close to like those icons at the top row. Generate 10 images, all without a background. I want 10 options for app icons to choose from. These are iOS app icons. And as I said earlier, the Codex app actually has the built-in ability to use image generation. So it will actually decide what prompts to use, and it'll generate 10 images. Another thing that I want to do is I want to begin thinking about our launch video. And so if we go to plugins and we type in Remotion, we see that there's this Remotion plugin. This is how you can create motion graphics from prompts. We're going to use this. I've already installed it. You see here it says remove from Codex. If you haven't installed it, you'll see add to Codex. And then you can basically give it full access to do its thing. So if we come back here and we can say, for the mobile app that we are working on right now, that is the best place for people to learn about agents and download skills and save things and learn about agents and become better and more productive and make more money with AI agents. I want to create a launch video. So please just come up with a list of considerations for this. Like, what should we consider? Let's plan out the video. We are going to be using and remember, you can type slash. Actually, when it's in a plugin, you go at Remotion skill. Don't make the video yet. I just want you to think about the skill and think about the considerations that I should consider when making this video. So now we can run that. Let's go back to the mobile app. Here's what it says. So as of April 17th, the best fit for this would be Clerk, Supabase, Postgres. Why? Clerk already covers your auth and Clerk. Okay, Postgres is the right shape for this. Okay, so we should use Postgres. Okay, so give me the link to get started with Supabase. And is there a Supabase skill I could download that many people use? If so, download that skill. Let's use it. Let me know where I need to sign in. So I noticed that in plugins, they didn't have a Supabase plugin, but Supabase are what most of the vibe coding platforms use for a database. In fact, Lovable uses Supabase, and Supabase is actually a more valuable company than Lovable. It's like an incredibly valuable company. They're recently $10 billion, and it's just AI's favorite database at this point. And so we're going to use it. And since it doesn't have a built-in plugin, I'm just having Codex search the internet and find a skill that we can use for Supabase. And while that is searching for that skill, we're going to go to this plan Remotion launch video that's now done. And so based on the chorus plan.md, and we have the Swift, the strongest launch video is AI is not the future. And it gave us this plan. It gave us some ideas, but I actually kind of want to make it more like the Anthropic videos, which do a really good job of showing off the product. But the first thing that we want to do is just test and see if this Remotion skill works. And remember, Remotion is what we're using to create a motion graphics video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, please use this skill to create a test video that just says, then it should show a mock-up. It should flash between 3 more scenes that show these different screens. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screenshot this screen and this screen and this screen right here, just to give it some additional context so it knows what screens to use. I want you to make a mock-up of these so it looks exactly like an iPhone and have it animate on the screen and just have these 4 scenes. The purpose of and keep it as a white background. The purpose of this is to just really, I really want to just focus on seeing if this skill works properly. And please look into this skill to figure out how you can run this locally, so I can just click the local link and it opens up here in the side window, and I can see the video along with the different tracks and sequences. And if you get confused by that last part and I talk about tracks and sequences, I'll explain exactly what that means. I actually have a good deal of experience using the Remotion skill. I used to use it in Claude Code. I've used it in the Vibe Code app, and it's a pretty easy skill to use. I'll show you. So here it gave me this link. We're back to creating a mobile app. Remember, I'm sorry if we're moving around, but remember, this will take some of these will take like 5 or 6 minutes. So we want to be able to multitask. So again, we're back. We're looking at how to use Supabase. And remember, I actually don't use Supabase that often, so I'm learning this as I go. And that's part of what I'm trying to show you here, is you can learn how to do things as you do it. That is part of the fun of using AIs. It will just tell you how to do things. You can just figure it out. So I'm just going to create a new project. New project name is going to be, and then we'll type a strong password, enable data API, and create new project. I'm going to say, okay, I created a new project. Send me the URL, region, and tell me when it exists. Okay, so we can hit save. I need to give it a URL region. It's loading up. That's pretty cool. And if you take a look here, if we click connect, I noticed here that we have an MCP. We can choose Codex, and we can give it feature groups, only enable the subset of the features. All right, so we can just copy this prompt. So this should allow you to connect. If you can connect, create the full DB and add everything. If not, let me know what else you need. Okay, so the Remotion launch video is done. And so notice here, it gives us this localhost 3031. We click on it, and a timeline opens up right here. And you can just edit this video. Take a look at this. You can just see a video. We have our app. This is a mock-up of all the screens in our app showing up right here on our screen. And we're just using the Remotion plugin. I didn't do anything crazy. You just enabled the Remotion plugin. You type @Remotion, and boom, you're using it. Now check this out. Please, can you, I'm just going to go on a tangent here and just kind of talk about it. And so by the way, this is how this works. So you have like each second has 30 frames. So this is 30 frames per second. And so you can always reference the frames. So that's how I kind of talk to AI as I'm going through this. So this would be on 2 seconds, 20 frame, or 2.20. You can mention the exact time that you want to make a change. Like one thing I notice here is like there's this learn text here, but we don't need to make changes to this because we just wanted to test this to see if this works, and it does work. And so I'm just going to say, make an outline for the phones like black, make it look a little bit better. Just like right now, you just show the screen. I want a little black border around the edge to make it look more like an iPhone. Now, before the first screen comes on the phone, I want text on the screen. The text on the screen should read, agents are taking over the world. Then there should be a little toggle that says learn, and it should be in the off position. Then have a mouse, and this should be black, like computer mouse, come on the screen and then toggle it to on. As soon as that happens, the first phone screen should come on the screen, and then it should scroll down on the phone and look through all of the different things that you can learn. And I want you to have 5 different things that you can learn that shows up, like Agents 101, building your first agent, learning about skills, and then come up with 2 more based on what's popular with Codex, and then we'll build the next scene after that. So that is what I want first here, right? I'm going to add something that comes up before it says welcome to chorus. I actually don't want the welcome to chorus. And remember, we can use steer. So like we should never see the welcome to chorus phone screen. I don't want to see that. It should immediately after the screen I said to show the app and scrolling down on the agents page. So remember, while it's loading, we can press enter. And you can see that this actually steered the conversation. Let's go back to our mobile app. Let's take a look and see what what we're doing. Okay, the Supabase MCP is set up, placed locally. I added the Supabase server and enabled remote MCP client support. Okay, then blah, 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 blah. I could not apply the database directly from this live agent process because the current session still does not expose the newly added MCP server to the layer. So, what we need to do is we actually need to create a new chat. Here it actually says if you restart Codex now and come back to this project, I can do the actual DB apply next. So we're going to come down here. We're just going to quit Codex. We are going to quit, I believe, yeah, we're going to quit Codex and we're going to reopen it. And then I'm going to just say, okay, I restarted it. Please do it. Okay, so it looks like the Xcode is done. So we can actually run this. And it says that it created all of these different tables in the database. So it says it should be stored in Supabase. So if we open our simulator, we do see that there is data in here. So let's hope that this is actually stored in Supabase. So we can go to Arc. Okay, so we definitely see some requests here. What we can do, let's go ahead and go to Table Editor. Nice. Look at all these tables. So if we were to go to like skill categories, for example, very cool. So we have different icons. So we can set the icon here. This is cool. So we have the different skill platforms, saved items, skills. So we have category, research, GTM, build, ops. Okay, we have competitor scan, landing critic. Let's see if these are in here. Let's go to simulator. So if we go to platform, so we can edit those. Skills. Yeah, we have competitor scan, landing critic. We can copy this. Let's see if that actually copied. Yep, this copied to my clipboard. That's pretty cool. This is starting to look pretty good. So I think the saved just happens locally because we haven't added authentication yet, but this does look like it's being stored in the database. So that's pretty cool. So we have database set up. Now I want you to go to my YouTube account, Riley Brown, and find videos where I talk about agents. Find my my 5 videos on AI agents specifically to come up with the stuff on the Learn tab. I want 5 lessons, and this means you're going to be in my own voice. I want you to fill them in, and these should be more general. I should not be specifically talking about specific agent tools. I want you to actually create a curriculum based on the stuff I've talked about, but do additional research to fill in the gaps to create high quality lessons. And remember, earlier we created that skill, which is called, I believe it's YouTube Researcher for transcript pulling. So let's go back to the Remotion launch video. Let's see how this did. If we refresh the page here and we hit play, agents are taking over the world. Notice here that the mouse missed it. Right here, I believe, view, show guides? No, show rulers. Okay, so this is a little hack with the Remotion skill. So notice here that this mouse goes, we want this mouse to go here. So this would be like 1,000 on the x-axis and 1,610. So 1,000 x-axis, 610 y-axis, and it's currently at like 1,040. So like if you can turn on these grid lines to give the agent very specific instructions. And so 1,040 x-axis, and it is on 540. The arrow completely missed the screen, the toggle, and it should be about at this location. The arrow ended up, like the mouse when clicking, ended up at this location. So I don't want it here, I want it at the location above. And so let's see. So this is actually looking pretty good. So agents are taking over the world. You click learn, and now this screen pops up. So let's go right at the 3-second mark. Then right at the 3-second mark, I want the camera to zoom in on learning about skills, and then it should zoom in on the component that has learning about skills, and then it should kind of transition to like almost like a document view. It should not be a phone screen. It should be, and then it should show some information about skills and just show like 10 popular skills. Do some research, show 10 popular skills, and each one should have some information. And so this should be more of like a full screen view that shows the different things that you can learn within that. And it should just take the viewer through the fact that you can learn about agent skills. Okay, we're gonna run that. And now if we go back to our web app, we can see that it is done. And notice here, if we actually open this in a separate browser, right? If we were to open this up in Arc, let's just paste this in Arc, you can see that the tally is indeed working. And so what I'm going to do is I want you to please make this look like the iOS app we're building. Keep the design very simple and make the design have the same exact font, have like no components, very little like subtext. I just want this to be very, very simple. I just want the design to look exactly like it, and then have like information about the app on this website. You know, you're not the best designer, so I want you to like make sure that this is designed pretty well. And like keep it simple. It should look like the app. Get rid of this background gradient, change the font to match the application. Okay. So we're currently working on a launch video, a mobile app, and a web app at the same time. So here, I'm just going to refresh this. The Remotion is done. Let's go ahead. So we can click Learn. There we go. That's not bad. Okay, so this zoom, when it zooms, I want it to zoom even more. So it should zoom all the way, and then it should kind of transition. And then notice here, the transitions are like kind of like fade out. It looks, this is disgusting. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna screenshot this. I'm just gonna paste this here. Okay, and then the transition should be like harsher cuts. I do not like this fade out transition. Like, make it a faster transition and just make it more professional. And then also the screenshot I gave you, this is hideous. What I want you to do instead of this is I just want you to have skills at the top. Like, just put the word skills at the top and then have like colored cards that look premium, amazing, and then have them rotating through like a wheel, like almost like a wheel animation through the screen. I'll draw something out for you real quick. I'll kind of share what I want you to create. I want this to be amazing. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna want this to be like, I want it to be something like this. So we'll give it kind of this sketch right here. I want it to look something like this. Okay, so it turns out I forgot Codex is just not the best at web design. So what we're gonna do is we're actually just gonna use Opus. So I'm just gonna type in Claude here in the terminal. So this is a good use case in my opinion. If you're someone who has a Claude subscription, but you wanna use Codex, because I think Codex is a better interface, but Claude is better at design. So you can use Claude directly in here. And you notice here, remember, if we go back to our, the beginning of the video, whenever we create this project, it already, like we created this project at My New Business. And so when we go into the terminal, right, if you know how to use Claude Code, you kind of have this set up already. If you don't have Claude Code, search on the internet how to set up Claude Code. It'll take you 5 minutes. You can figure it out. And you can run Claude Code from this app right here. From the terminal. And if you don't want to have to approve anything, you can go like this. You can go Claude space dash dash dangerously dash skip dash permissions. And this will run it on bypass permissions mode, which is the same as the full access mode. But anyway, we are working on the landing page here. And what I like to do is I like to give it context, right? Because Claude doesn't have the same context as if you were chatting here. It knows we're in this My New Business, but it doesn't know anything else. It's just in this folder. It doesn't know if it's working on the chorus plan or the chorus video. We are using Tally, and I want to make sure that we create a really good landing page. I want you to completely forget the styling of this page that you have here. I want you to make this a landing page for the following application. It is the Chorus app. And so you're going to look at the code of the Chorus app in this folder right here, and you are going to analyze how it's styled. It's very simple. It's white. Look at the font and make the app make this landing page match it, and it should have the Tally embed. That's all I want. Minimal text, really make it convert, make it great. Okay, we'll run that. And we can actually see Claude Code working on this in real time. We can very easily just like minimize it almost all the way, and Claude Code will just continue working on this. Okay, so the mobile app is done. Let's go ahead and open up Xcode. And what we need to do is, it analyzed my YouTube, right? Remember what we asked it to do. We were having it research my YouTube, and it created 5 lessons based on my YouTube transcript. So what is an agent, narrow, beats, general, build the loop, workspace memory skills, team, and handoff. So I've made videos on this before. So it did research, and it created these lessons. So what is an agent? Okay. Okay, these are way too short. Make them longer, please. Okay, so Claude Code just went to town on the web app. Oh wow, this looks a lot better. So we can actually open this up in an external browser to see it full screen, or we can just go like this. And you'll notice here you can press Get Early Access. Oh, and it goes down here, and this is where you put your information. For whatever reason, this in-app browser is not showing the Tally form. Let's see if it shows up here. Wait, so we can refresh this, Get Early Access, boom, we can put this here. For whatever reason, These icons are a little bit different, but learn agents in one place. A simple iPhone app for learning agent fundamentals, comparing the right platforms, and sharing reusable skills. One thing I can add here, and wow, Codex is not nearly as good at design, it feels like. So please add like works with Codex, Claude Code, OpenClaw, Hermes, and Gemini. Please see if you can pull those logos and put them in the files so they show up. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and check on the mobile app. So if we go to Xcode, we hit play. Let's see what this looks like. Where is my simulator? There it is. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. What is an agent? It is very text heavy, but at least we have some more. This is a little bit longer. We do have the database set up. Now what I want to do is I want to have platforms. So for the platforms, I want to have it be just a list of platforms, no tags or categories going horizontally across. I just want a list of platforms. This will be my curated list of 10 to 20. The ones that I want you to have right now, I want to have Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, OpenClaw, Hermes, Manus, Perplexity Computer, and that's good for now. For the icons, see if you can grab the icon for each of these. Like, figure out how to do that. If you can't do it, that's okay. I can get you the PNGs manually, but see if you can do it and get it all of this info in the database so it works properly. But yeah, we don't need tags for this because there's never going to be over 20. Okay, we fired off that prompt. Let's go check on our remotion. So remember, we can full screen this. This is looking pretty cool. Let's go ahead and try to play this. Okay, this is looking good. This is, it's just a little choppy, and then okay, so we have like good 4 seconds are pretty good here. So it goes here, we click learn. It kind of shows that you can learn these, and here it has some skills going by. The skills are rotating still slightly too fast. I just want them to be a little bit slower so I can read them. And then immediately after this screen, the way I want it to end is I want the YouTube researcher skill to animate up to the top, and then I want text to come in to describe the skills. I want to show a copy animation as if I was pressing the copy button. And then it should say copied to clipboard. And then we are going to show the Codex app opening up. And so what we can do is we can say, this is going to be a hard one. So I'm going to paste this in. Then it should show a text input area just like the one of the screenshot that I showed you for the Codex app, and then have typing in that box, and it should say, can you please add this skill? And then show somehow that that document was pasted in the text input area, and it should show up above where you're typing. So this should look like a computer, basically. Okay, so this is going to be a hard one. We're going to have to edit this a little bit more, but that's okay. Okay, so we are kind of working through all of these. We're making our way through our iPhone app. This will take a little bit. One thing I want to cover is forking a chat. So we can actually come to mobile app here. And what we can do, actually, I'm going to fork this chat as soon as this is done. So one sec, I'm going to wait for this to finish. Then we're actually going to fork this chat, and we are going to start working on our investor deck. So please mark investor deck as working. And so I'm going to wait for the mobile app to finish. Okay, so the mobile app is done. And so what I want to do here is I'm actually going to fork the chat. And you can do this by coming over here and right-clicking, or 2-finger click. And what we're going to do is we're just going to hit fork into local. If you're not technical, don't worry about fork into new work tree. That doesn't matter for the sake of this video. Just do fork into local. And this is going to create a new chat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to Investor Deck. And what I'm going to do, please analyze the features and assets from this application, and I want you to create an investor slide deck in the same style. You know, like we have all of those icons for that we've created earlier for Codex, Cursor, OpenClaw, etc. that are in the app right now. So include those, like all the styling stuff in this new investor deck. And I believe we have a skill that's built in. I think it's just called PowerPoint. And so we can reference that. I want you to search the internet for a bit, find out what investors are currently looking for in April of 2026. Like, what are they looking for in a PowerPoint deck or in a deck that you send them? And please create it like that, in that style. So find some examples online and copy the style. Do not rely on your own styling ability. Okay, so we're going to send this off. Now we are working on this investor deck. So remember, so we created the iOS app design. We're still working on the iPhone app. We're working on the web app landing page, which is almost done. We are working on the investor deck and launch video. Okay, so the investor deck is done, and I love the way it looks in Codex. Like, look at this. You can create an investor deck just like this. I will say it's not the best at designing PowerPoints yet. So what we need to do is we're going to open up the terminal here, and we're going to type in Claude dangerously skip permissions. And we're going to say, hey there, Claude, I need you to take a look at this PowerPoint, and I need you to make it look better. I want you to refine it. I want there to be less text, some more graphics. Check and see what are best practices for you to do it. I want you to just really make this like a refined deck. There just seems to be too much text on this deck. It's not super readable. It's just not my favorite deck right now. So please make it so much better. Don't add any slides or change the material. Just make it better. Make it more refined, less text, more visuals that like put things into perspective, you know, like charts, anything like that. That could be good. Make it better. We are working on, and so it's useful to give it the files, because remember, this chat has all the context. All this chat knows is we're in this My New Business folder. It's always good. I actually don't even know where this is located. I guess we could just click on this. Oh, you can open it in Canva. I'm just going to give it this file path right here. What happens if we click Canva? Here it is on Canva. Wow, wow. This is actually very cool. I did not realize you can do that easily. Just open it up straight in Canva. That's pretty cool. Okay, so Claude Code. We just had Claude Code go to town on this slide deck. It does look a little bit better. It doesn't look a ton better. I don't think it's that much better at design than Codex models. It's just a little bit more refined. We have some more visuals. Here, yeah, like this is a really good slide, like value compounds over time. We have a learning graph, a saved workspace, execution memory. This is pretty cool. So we have this slide deck. I didn't really give it enough information, so I'm gonna do that now. And so here I'm coming up with kind of like this fictional plan of how I'm gonna leverage my audience, right, to build a massive curation of really useful skills for existing tools like OpenAI, Codex, etc. We're going to build a lightweight agent through iMessage. People will pay monthly through access for these different agents that are super lightweight that people can test. They're less of a commitment than, say, Codex or Claude Code. I just kind of want to change the narrative because it's kind of bringing up like clock and auth Supabase. Like, I need to mention that. We don't need to mention anything about the authentication, and talk more about the narrative and why this is a big opportunity, and look up like how much money is in this market. Like, focus more on the story, less on the tech. So we fired off that prompt. Let's check on our mobile app here. Oh yeah, while the other one was loading, I forgot to record it, but I uploaded one of these app icons. If you remember, we generated a ton of these app icons earlier. I forgot about it, and so I uploaded it here to the mobile app, so it added an app icon. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna plug in my actual phone. I'm gonna show you real quick how to run. So when you're using your phone, or when you're using Xcode, you can use the simulator, or you can run it on your actual phone. So on Xcode, you see here we have the device. We chose iPhone 17. These are simulators. You can see that this says iOS simulators, but I can also select my phone. And so I'm going to select my phone. I'm going to hit play. I have my phone out open right here. It should open the latest version of the app. It is. And so now I'm just screen sharing my phone to the computer. This is on my actual phone right now. And we're gonna take a look at the app. This page looks pretty good. We have basics. Oh, there's haptics in the app now. I can actually feel the app. There's haptics. Here we can select platforms. Here we see Claude Code, Codex. And here we have the About Platforms page. We have this kind of nice overview where we can learn about the platform. Anthropic's Claude. This is very cool. Skills. So we have this YouTube researcher skill. I believe I can copy this to my clipboard. It has a pretty cool animation. We can save this. This is actually coming out to be pretty cool. Yeah, this is looking really good. This is my favorite page. I love the actual icons. I'm actually going to make this app. I'm going to put this on the App Store. I'm going to make it really good. But this is looking very good. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say, I want users to actually be able to sign in. Oh, wait, there's this profile icon. Oh, okay. So this is not real data. And I want the user to actually be able to sign in with Google. And so what is the easiest way to do that? With that, we're using Supabase. Ignore Clerk. We don't need to use Clerk. What is the easiest way? Are you able to add authentication right now using the MCP with Google sign-in? And then this will log all the users that sign in into the actual app. And I want their actual data to show up in the profile. And I basically want this app fully ready to go. Obviously, there's no payments in the app. I want you to add authentication so users can sign in. And so we can run that. And if we go back to our launch video, this is the one that we might not finish today. I'm going to go ahead and close out of my iPhone real quick. If we hit play here, okay, that's pretty cool. It misses a little bit on the learn. That's okay. What is this gradient? That's okay. Ooh, ooh. Okay, I forgot I made a massive edit last time. Ooh, that looks pretty good. So you can please use this skill. You can paste it into Codex. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do that again, basically. So I'm going to, let's open up Claude. And I'm going to say, after the Welcome to Codex screen, I actually want to go back to the phone screen that shows the skills, show a different skill, and show copying a different skill. Maybe like a mobile app designer skill, and then we're going to paste it into Claude Code, which looks like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to Claude, and I'm just going to open up a new normal chat like this, and I'm just going to copy this just like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be using Claude again, because it is better at design. Claude -- dangerously get permissions. I'm going to paste that image in here, and I'm also just going to paste this. We are working on the remotion video. Use the remotion skill, really think deep. We're adding 2 scenes at the end of this to kind of close out the video to show that you can add skills to your agents. And so now we're focusing on Claude Code instead of the subtitle above. So instead of it saying Riley returns, so instead of it saying Riley returns, it should just say Claude Code. And it should show the same thing. I want you to add this skill, and then it should paste in a skill in the UI like the image. So like we've already done this once with Codex. We're doing it again, so we're going back to the same app from earlier, copying the prompt, and then pasting it into Claude Code. So please think deep, make this look good. Okay, this is really fun. I actually haven't done this until today, where I use Claude Code inside the Codex app for like design-heavy tasks. It ends up looking a lot better. And obviously, these can take a lot longer, right? Like a launch video, we've only put in a total of like 10 minutes of like focused effort in the launch video. If you spend a few hours on this, you could actually make this pretty good. This is not terrible. Okay, Claude has literally just went ham for 7 minutes and 24 seconds, and it cooked on this slide deck. It's like, curation is the wedge, agents are the business. Most startups pray for distribution, we start with it. And obviously some of these things don't fit, but the fact that you can like literally export it into Canva immediately and make edits, that's pretty insane. Curate, test, monetize. I don't like this like top bar. In fact, I'm just gonna do that. Oh yeah, one really useful thing, I use a tool called CleanShot Pro, And what it does is it allows you to like immediately just like make really good, like I can just kind of go like this, can very easily just select which part that I want. Like I actually don't want any of this up here. So I'm gonna give this to Claude. I'm gonna say, please don't have the top bar. We don't need it. The big black thing that says 1.5 million followers. Simplify that. I don't like that component. Just change that. Let's just go through and make some changes here. Yeah, the top bar on all the pages, by the way, not just that one. I don't want the top bar. This one looks good. This one looks good. Yeah, this is looking pretty solid here. Oh, I like this one. Every consumer is about to decide which agents to trust. Nobody is guiding them. Yeah, I like this. I'm just gonna copy this right here. We're gonna go back to Claude Code. On this first slide, make the text, the main text at the top, every consumer, and then just change what's going on in the bottom part. Like it says fragmented, technical, and unbranded. Please come up with something else. Maybe show the phone on the right with the app design. Show that there on the right and show that there's like a course or something there or something. That's pretty good. Where are we on the mobile app? Oh yeah, let me see here. Oh yeah, we just tried to add authentication. Let's go ahead and go to Xcode. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run this on Riley's iPhone. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up Riley's iPhone here. This is gonna open up. Let's take a look. We tried to add authentication. Add your Superbase publishable keys. Okay, so we're not quite ready for adding authentication. The easiest path is Superbase native Google OAuth flow. It's asking it, what do I need to do to make this work? I'm not signed in yet, or I can't sign in. So again, we're just asking the agent what we need to do to set this up. Actually, we're not gonna do Google. I want to just set up, what were some of the providers? Was Apple one of them? Let's do Apple. Actually, let's just do email. We don't need to do Google, just do email for now. Okay, so the mobile app is done. Let's see if this works here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Xcode and we're gonna hit play. Build succeeded. So it decided that doing email and password was actually the easiest way to do it. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put in my email and password. I'm gonna pause the video for this. And here we're just going to sign in. I have to do create account first. Create an account. Okay, wait, it worked. I had to go into Superbase and I had to turn off confirm email. I can turn that on later, but all I want to do is be able to sign in. And it looks like that I am indeed signed in here. I can see that let's see if I hit save. Let's save a few things here on platforms. We'll save Claude Code. If we go back to our profile, we have 1 platform saved, 2 tracks saved, no skills saved. So I can save some skills. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now let's go back to my profile. All of these things are now saved in the app. So I am signed in. It doesn't show the account that I'm signed in with, which I will want it to do. That's one thing we'll ask. Okay, so I am signed in. Once I sign in, I want it to be clearer that I'm signed in, like show like my email up at the top. But this is pretty cool. We are signed in and this is working. We have a full working authentication set up. We can go to the tables and yeah, this is pretty cool. So I think this app is ready for test flight. So I'm actually gonna add this later. I want to get this ready for test flight. Please do everything to prep for this. I'm going to do it on the not a number account. So yeah, we're gonna be sending this app to the App Store. Here, let's take a look. A trusted curator for the AI agent era. That's pretty good. And so we can see this full screen, or what we can do is we can open this in Canva. So we're gonna open up this new version in Canva and it will show up right here and we can actually manually make edits to it. And so we can do like the last 5-10% here, like we might wanna get rid of this. You know, maybe we'd wanna change these colors just a little bit, but yeah, it exports pretty well. Ooh, nice animation. That's kind of sick. It looks a lot better in Canva. And so yeah, like we can get rid of these here. Then we can also add some like offset, good like background. We can put it over here. So this is looking a little bit better. We can make some, yeah, you know, this slide, it's fine. We could add some icons, but you know what? This is a decent start to an investor deck. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the plan. I finished the investor deck. I also finished the iOS app because this mobile app I think is looking pretty good. You know, we still need to send it to the App Store. And so while the mobile app is loading, what I want to do is I want to be able to put this on the internet. So I want to be able to actually put this on the internet, and we can give it a domain later. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, please, can you deploy this to @Vercel and give me the public link? So we are actually putting this website on the internet. Right? So this is how people can get early access. They can come to the website, and we can actually grab this link right here. Let me show you in a browser. So the actual, and while this is loading, I want to add a song to our launch video. So I'm just going to drag this song that I have. It's called Chasing Horizons in my folder. I'm going to say, please add this song at 50% volume in the launch video. Keep everything else the same. Okay, so we've created a build here on App Store Connect. Now, please put it on test flight. I'm done. Okay, well that's loading. I'm running one final prompt on Claude Code. I want to add, oh yeah, here's the music, by the way. So it shows copying. I can paste it here. It's pretty good. Some repetition shows me copying this. Boom. Now after this, I want it to actually use the skill. So we're using the skill, and then I want you to create a little canvas that shows all like 5 frames of a calorie tracking app that look really good on the same background as that Claude Code is. But remember, change the font here. You didn't really choose the right font for the Claude Code. And yeah, have a new app, like have a laptop screen pop up, just basically like a computer screen pop up that shows the different canvases of an iPhone mock-up. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost there, guys. Okay, this web app looks done. Okay, yep, this is done. Deploy to Vercel, give me link. And we can't mark this as complete until we've tested it. So I'm gonna go in and try and submit an email on the website, right? I need to go to this link. If we open up Arc here, we need to be able to type in the info here. And then remember, this last thing is I wanna be able to set up ex-post automation. So we're just gonna set that up. This is one of my favorite skills that I've ever used. For this, we're gonna use Typefully. So Typefully is how I control 6 different Twitter accounts to combine over like 275,000 followers across all of my accounts. And I just need to come in here, and what I need to do is I need to grab my API key, right? Because I can just go here and I can create new posts from Vibe Coding Explain. This account has 50,000 followers, and we can use AI to draft tweets from Typefully. And so here, what we need to do is we need to go to Settings, then we need to go to API, and then we need to create a new API key. So I'm going to create one and copy it. Now we're going to come here. I'm going to say, please, can you search Typefully